Yeah, thank you, Ted. And hello, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us. So like our basil plants, will make this short and sweet. Um, so let me just double check. I think I switched this. Is that good?
Yep, it was good.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so just a brief rundown. So might not be familiar with this, but basil, it's it's become a big industry, especially on the island of Oahu. It's grown on only 466 acres, but it's valued at $28 million as a commodity, with sweet basil being the majority of that. So it's the seventh most valued agricultural commodity in the state. But surprisingly, 99% of this is exported to the US and Canada, with only a small fraction being kept locally. So focusing on today's topics, it's, most of the time growers have issues with pests and diseases. And here are just some of the major ones that we encounter when working with basil growers. But by far, maybe the most common that they encounter is issues with downy mildew. And through our work with downy mildew that I'll present, we also noticed some issues with rose beetle damage. So for downy mildew, farmers can typically control it with different kind of chemical rotation sprays, but then there are challenges if there are growers who do not follow a proper rotation program, where if they only use one or two fungicides continuously throughout the year, they can lose effectiveness through that burnout. And especially for growers considering organic basil production, the products available to them, depending on the pressure at the time, can be less effective than their synthetic counterparts. So one way to get around this is through varieties that are naturally bred and developed to be resistant to downy mildew. So this is just a picture highlighting the common Genovese variety that got impacted by downy mildew in one of our trials. And this one of the varieties that I'll highlight, that we didn't spray anything, but it just naturally was able to outcompete that downy mildew pressure. So here are 6 varieties that we primarily tested in our downy mildew resistance variety trials. So 4 of them were developed by Rutgers and this Rutgers University and this VDF seed company. And they, most of them have that similar leaf structure and flavor profile that commercial Genovese types have. Just highlighting, this Thunderstruck one has a little bit more of a crinkled leaf, so it's kind of like this lettuce leaf, crinkled basil. So it might have a market appeal for its, for that quality. And then other ones that more recently got released commercially are this Prospera, that's more of a cup shape, and then this Amazo variety that looks similar to some of the other ones presented here, but it's right now it's only available via cuttings as opposed to seed as the others, because this Amazo is marketed as being sterile. So we've conducted variety trials over the past couple of years here at Pomoho Research Station and also Waimanalo that I'll show, showing that in our first one in August 2018, just looking at the disease severity score, that the resistant varieties, the new varieties, Devotion, Thunderstruck, and Obsession, outperformed in terms of downy mildew resistance compared to the Genovese. So very surprising and interesting data that we observed. But as we track this over time, so that 2018 was a field trial, and then we repeated this more as seedling trials. We found that some varieties were more susceptible and maybe lost some of the resistance. So this could be due to planting it later in the year, or possibly due to multiple races of downy mildew, which has been shown or observed across the US, where some varieties do better than others towards downy mildew resistance. Yeah, so just highlighting over the 3 different trials that we've done, that Prospera, Amazo, and possibly even Thunderstruck seem to do pretty well in terms of downy mildew resistance, and still it is accepted by the market for its flavor profile. But in our trials, we've also observed that some varieties were more, damaged by rose beetle. So in 2020 with Dr. Ted Radovich's laboratory.
You what?
You are getting a suntan.
Oh, good.
We did another trial that included some other varieties. So just showing it again, Everleaf is another new one, Fiona, and then Eleonora, which we've also tested in our Donna Mildew trials, but it still was very susceptible to the disease. So in this rose beetle trial, you can see the ones with the green stars highlight the ones that did well for those particular metrics. So for yield, Everleaf, Obsession, Prospera, but Fiona did the best. Internode length, which is good because if it's a shorter internode length, it's less prone to falling due to either natural weight or wind, and might also be more productive in potted production systems. So this one, Everleaf and Fiona also did well. But when it came to beetle damage, which we were assessing, primarily Everleaf did the best. It had almost zero damage, while Honora and Prospera were second. And then also Everleaf, once again, did the best in terms of having very low flowering. So you don't have to use as much labor to pluck it. So you can prioritize plant and leaf growth. So just to summarize, our two trials, the top Donna Mildew resistant ones were some of the Rutgers ones, but primarily the Amazel and the Prospera, while the top beetle tolerant as well as compact shorter internode was the Everleaf, but also the Obsession and the Prospera handled pretty well too. So yeah, if I'd be happy to answer any questions in the chat, or feel free to also email me too. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Josh. Appreciate that. Let's see. I don't see any in the chat. We did a great job of catching up. We're at 5 o'clock now, so I want to mahalo everybody, and I'll turn my camera back on. I want to mahalo everybody for attending. Thank you for your patience as well for our initial challenges with the passcode. We obviously still learning, so this will be recorded, or it has been recorded. It will be posted to the website, and we will let you know when it's up. And please spread the word to folks that you may know who are unable to attend, that it's going to be there for folks to access. So thanks again, everybody, and thank you to all of our speakers and everybody who participated. We really appreciate you joining us. Take care. Aloha.